Caitlin Clark officially done for the 2025 WNBA season, as she and the Fever announced on social media. The Fever and Clark saying that she tried to get back on the floor. It appears that she just ran out of time, not able to get enough confidence back in her body as the season wraps up and the playoffs are likely about to begin for Indiana.
The season is finally over for Caitlin Clark. For her, it's more than just a difficult break. The WNBA is in a terrible situation. Fans were kept up to date with hazy daily updates. When her reappearance was promised, ticket sales soared. Requests for refunds are suddenly flooding in. How did the league's top player, who drives attendance and ratings, wind up out with a run of escalating ailments that appear to be more the result of poor management than bad luck? More significantly, why did the WNBA and the Fever continue to give us cautious hope even while Clark's body was disintegrating right in front of us? Before we dissect everything, leave a kind note for Caitlin Clark in the comment section and let us know whether you think the Fever can still qualify for the playoffs without her.
Come on.
Caitlin Clark out for the remainder of the 2025 season, something we all think we knew was coming after what Stephanie White said earlier today. We couldn't be too sure until we see it for ourselves. And with this announcement from the GOAT's mouth herself, Caitlin Clark won't be returning this season, nor if the Indiana Fever make the playoffs.
Nearly from the beginning, her sophomore year fell apart, and the injury story that followed was one that no one wanted to believe. The time frame is now clearly written out, making the pattern simpler to perceive. She first had quad discomfort in May, which prevented her from playing in a preseason game. She had to miss several games due to a strained left quadriceps on May 24th for games into the regular season. A left groin strain was added to the list at the end of June. The breaking point then arrived. Her campaign ended on July 15th when she suffered a right groin injury in the last minute of a game. August revealed that she had a bone bruise in her left ankle while undergoing rehabilitation. Just when supporters thought the worst was over, Clark's supposedly breakthrough sophomore season devolved into one shutdown after another, and by the end of the season, she had only played in 13 games.
I mean, it's a gut punch that basically encompasses an entire season of them. The Fever have lost so many players to injury, but obviously none bigger than Clark. And there was such a wait for this second season after her magnificent rookie season. And then, the anticipation of her possibly coming back, only for that not to happen, takes a lot of air out of the room, obviously takes a lot of energy out of the fans, and is a devastating blow for not just the Fever and the WNBA.
There was frustration associated with each halt along that time frame. Her injuries were often described by the team as everyday language that gave viewers hope. That expression implied a speedy recovery and permitted optimism and ticket sales to continue. However, the truth was more nuanced. After recovering from the quad strain, she was obviously constrained. Her efficiency decreased, her minutes were controlled, and she appeared to be a player looking for rhythm while never being completely healthy. People took notice. Even though coach Stephanie White informed reporters that the Fever were using their West Coast tour as an opportunity to assess her progress, public reporting and fan reactions began to raise doubts about whether her returns were hurried. White added that Clark hadn't been doing a lot of contact work, which suggested that she wasn't quite well yet.
Well, because Caitlin Clark fans, I want to say Fever fans, but at this point, so many of you, including myself, has lost faith in everybody involved in leadership and in management and coaching. We've just sort of, I got to tell you, I don't have any more real good things to say about the Fever organization as of now, because I will contend that they have known this was going to happen and they did not want to tell anybody.
The issue of overcompensation surfaced at that point. The body moves the load elsewhere when one place isn't healed, which creates the conditions for another breakdown. It's similar to mending a leaky pipe without addressing the underlying pressure. The system eventually breaks down once moored. A classic illustration of the progression was Clark's groin injury. The cycle continued as the quad stress was transferred to the surrounding muscles. The messaging, meanwhile, continued to be strangely positive. Fans saw glances. It was confirmed that Clark was almost ready to return when she was seen jogging gently during practice, getting some warm-up shots, and even laughing with teammates. According to team claims echoed by local media, she will soon be able to play again. However, specialists are aware that rapid recoveries rarely last and that quad and groin ailments persist. The more dismal reality conflicted with the apparent hope, resulting in a vicious cycle where each claimed recovery simply made the disappointment worse when another setback occurred.
Clark, a two-time All-Star and the 2024 WNBA Rookie of the Year, has been sidelined suffering a right groin injury during the Fever's 87-77 win over the Connecticut Sun on July 15th. If you guys remember that game, Caitlin Clark put the team on her back in the winding minutes to give the Indiana Fever that lead. Clark also suffered a bone bruise at a later date during her recovery process.
It was July 15th when everything fell apart. Clark's season ended when she suffered another groin injury in the last minute of a game, this time to her right side. The picture got increasingly clearer from there. Her body has never had a chance to completely reset after months of rehabilitation and partial comebacks. Her subsequent ankle bruise during her rehabilitation process served as a reminder of how precarious things had gotten and seemed like an insult to her already existing injuries. After a while, fans realized that she had been persevering through a compromised season and stopped believing the cautious updates.
Caitlin has worked so hard throughout this time, doing everything possible to recover and return to the court, but ultimately, time is not on our side, said Indiana Fever COO and GM Amber Cox. While we will continue working with Caitlin and provide her with every resource we have available, there is not enough time left in our season for her to safely return, and her long-term health and well-being remains our top priority. We are looking forward to having her back at full strength to start the 2026 season. Clark appeared in 13 games during the regular season, averaging 16.5 points, 8.8 assists, and 5 rebounds per game, while helping lead the team to the 2025 WNBA Commissioner's Cup title.
Whatever illusions remained were dispelled by her own words. When asked how she felt about the result, she replied, "Disappointed isn't a big enough word." She acknowledged that she worked out every day in the gym in hopes of making a comeback. No team news release was as powerful as that unvarnished honesty. While the public narrative suggested that Clark was about to be okay, she had put in every ounce of effort to save her season. The truth was straightforward in the end. She was sidelined by a series of injuries that accumulated, depriving the team of the one player who had instantly transformed the league's relevance.
Caitlin wrote, "I had hoped to share a better update, but I will not be returning to play this season. I spent hours in the gym every day with the singular goal of getting back out there. Disappointed isn't a big enough word to describe how I am feeling. I want to thank everyone who had my back through all the uncertainty. This has been incredibly frustrating, but even in the bad, there is good. The way fans continue to show up for me in the Fever brought me so much joy and important perspective. I'm so proud of how this team has only gotten stronger through the adversity this year. Now it's time to close out the season and claim our spot in the playoffs."
And there's
more to this than that. Many were forced to observe Clark's physical toll from each game as her ailments mounted. She was marketed by the league as the new face of women's basketball, but under continual strain, her body failed. Supporters started posing more challenging queries. Why did it appear that no one was shielding her on the floor if she was already facing so many setbacks? At that point, her annoyance turned from the injuries to the way she was handled on the court and the referee's lack of assistance. That annoyance turned into something more serious. The controversy surrounding Caitlin Clark's officiating and the league's decision to treat its best player. This is the tale of the WNBA's Golden Goose Gamble, referees being scrutinized, and bullying on the floor.
Well, it all started last year, in her rookie season, where she received 20% of all the flagrant fouls in the league. And most of them came from Angel Reese in the Chicago Sky. And these weren't basketball plays. They were not only fouling her, but they were getting up, laughing about it, laughing about Caitlin Clark getting assaulted. Any other work environment, people go to jail for what's going on.
Numerous supporters and media commentators started highlighting a concerning trend. Even though Clark was making a lot of contact, the whistle wasn't constant. The officiating, according to observers, never seemed to change to shield a star player. Hard fouls that went uncalled seemed to occur in every nationally televised game, and the same debate erupted on social media. Why is the most well-known player in the league taking so much abuse without any defense?
DOJ and FTC to investigate WNBA's misleading practices. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. So we are here now. We are here now. And what's crazy about all of this is that, guys, this is I'm not going to come on here and say that they're going to lose. Because if there was an investigation going into this team, they're not going to lose this investigation. Oh, they're going to win. Whoever is representing Caitlyn is going to win.
It wasn't just random conjecture. Receipts and videos showed Clark being shoved, struck, and generally harassed every time she took the court. Such plays stoked the indignation. Fans paused their feeds and played back those scenes in slow motion, highlighting physical play that seemed to go much beyond allowing them to play, as well as slaps across the arm and shoulders pressed into her chest. Highlight shows, analysts, and even casual fans started to wonder if Clark was receiving preferential treatment from the authorities in addition to basketball.
Last year, I noticed how much it was just Caitlyn Clark. Caitlyn Clark was taking all the hits. Caitlyn Clark was taking all the abuse. But this year they've added Sophie Cunningham. She gets more flagrant fouls on her than anybody in the league besides Caitlyn Clark. And Aaliyah Boston, she's been taking hits as well. But the worst thing is the consistency. So they don't call flagrant fouls, or most of the time, Caitlyn Clark could be held for an entire game at a time. They don't call fouls. They don't call common fouls.
But justice wasn't the only consideration here. There were actual repercussions. Unrestrained physical play put additional strain on a body already coping with groin and quad issues. The accumulation, along with the injuries she sustained during live action and the subsequent relapse of an ankle injury during rehabilitation, increased the likelihood of a season-ending collapse. Although there is no evidence of a purposeful cover-up, there is no denying the pattern of evasive communication and outspoken public indignation.
Play against Breanna Stewart, she goes to the line 14 times. Asia Wilson goes to the line 13 times. And Aaliyah Boston can't play 20 minutes in a game without being on the bench in foul trouble. That's another problem that we're dealing with. But like I said, this year, it's not just Caitlyn Clark. If you wear that Indiana Fever jersey, consider it done. The refs are not going to be fair, and they are going to cheat and do whatever it takes to do what the higher-ups say.
Critics also connected the story to business choices. Even as the weeks turned into months, the Fever and the league continued to refer to Clark's situation as day-to-day. At the same time, arenas grew to accommodate demand, sold-out road games continued, and ticket prices skyrocketed. Fans were furious when Clark was declared out because they believed they had been promised something they would never actually receive. There was the impression that clear, open updates of her true health were subordinated to business interests, the assurance of full seats, and national ratings.
For the last 2 weeks, Stephanie White knew where this was going to end up. I would say for the last month or so, they kind of had a feeling where this was going to go. The main issue, another day-to-day injury that turns into a season ender. Another day-to-day injury that turns into a season ender. And if you don't call that a lack of transparency, I don't know what to call that.
Perception is important. You can see how the contradictory plot lines generated suspicion if you stand back. On the one hand, there is the dazzling marketing that portrays Clark as a generational star. On the other, there is the court's obvious sentence. And on the other, there are hazy injury timeframes. Fans made the connection and came to the conclusion that referees swallowed whistles and officials minimized severity in order to maintain the league's short-term success. The credibility hit is real regardless of whether intent can be demonstrated. And at the moment, the WNBA's legitimacy is crucial. For the first time in years, Clark's presence resulted in hype that surpassed men's coverage, increased TV ratings, and soaring ticket sales. The league couldn't afford to lose her not only to injury but also in the midst of a public outcry. These days, broadcasters deal with waning attention, playoff races seem flat, and the Fever's dreams of winning the championship vanished as quickly as the news was released.